My child, listen to my voice calling you now. I, myself, have led you to this moment because there is something I need to reveal to your heart without delay. I know every step you have taken in recent days, every silent thought, every question you have kept within you, and that is why I speak to you at this instant. Nothing you are hearing is by chance. It is an answer, it is intervention, it is a direct movement of my spirit reaching you exactly where you are. I call you by name because I have always known you, always protected you, always blessed you, even when you thought you were walking alone. I tell you, there is an urgency in heaven, an urgency so great that I did not allow you to wait another minute without hearing my voice. You have been surrounded by difficulties, pressures, and fears that tried to paralyze you, but today I assure you that none of that is greater than what I am about to release in your life. I have entered this space with you because what I am doing now in your spirit cannot be postponed. Something has been decided on high, and I need you to know this clearly. Jesus, your Savior, is interceding for you at this very moment. He is before my throne, presenting your name, your pain, your cry, your requests, your worn-out hope, and I have brought you here because the time has come to reveal to you that nothing you have done, no prayer, no sigh, has gone unnoticed. I come to remind you that when my Son stands before me, when he speaks of you, when he brings to mind each of your tears, eternity itself falls silent to listen, and I hear, I see, I act, I respond. That is why this message could not wait, because what is being stirred in heaven has your name written on it and is advancing toward you. It is not a distant announcement. It is not a vague promise. It is a direct summons. Awaken your heart, because something alive, urgent, and divine is happening right now. You have felt a different kind of pressure, a restlessness you don't understand, as if something were approaching, and it is. A supernatural movement has already begun, breaking through invisible barriers, dismantling resistances you didn't even know existed. That's why I tell you, do not fear what has surrounded you. Do not fear the noises of your mind. Do not fear the attacks that came to tire you. They only came because heaven was already favoring you. And now I confirm, you were chosen for this moment. Listen. I brought you here because today a new cycle begins. Today begins an answer that will not be partial. Today the heavens bend over you with a definitive decision. You were heard, you were seen, you were remembered, and what is about to happen is not small. It is greater than your expectation, greater than your efforts, greater than your capacity to imagine. I am calling you by name because you need to understand that this word is for you and not for another. And as you receive this initial revelation, I want you to declare with faith what your spirit is already feeling. Comment now that you have received my word, because when you position yourself, you open up space for me to manifest even more than I have already begun to release. Breathe and stay still. This is just the beginning. What I have to say in the next part will delve even deeper into what I'm doing in you now. My son, now I need you to perceive what is happening above you at this very moment. There is a living, intense, and urgent movement in the sky, and you are at its center. None of this began now. This movement has been accumulating, growing in strength and depth, until it reached this point where it can no longer remain hidden. Today, I open your spiritual eyes to see what your natural senses would never be able to perceive. There is a noise in the sky. There are the footsteps of angels taking their positions. There are decrees being released from my own mouth. There is a gigantic spiritual shift being made because of your name. While you walked along thinking that life continued as usual, in the invisible realm, I was moving old structures, tearing down blockages, clearing paths that had been locked for a long time. Do not underestimate what is happening now. Do not deceive yourself into thinking that these words are just words. They are evidence of a spiritual movement that is taking shape. It is as if heaven has inclined its ears, as if my throne has drawn closer to your story, as if a portal between the invisible and the visible has begun to open. What is at work right now is not just my attention, it is my intervention. Jesus stands before me with unusual intensity, bringing your name with force, conviction, and purpose. He is not merely repeating prayers, he is advocating for you with absolute authority. He presents your tears as seeds, your pains as arguments, your perseverance as testimonies. And as he speaks, the heavens move, the atmospheres align, the angels receive direct orders. None of this is symbolic, it is real, it is happening right now. You have felt a different weight in recent days, a pressure on your spirit, as if something were approaching. And that is exactly it. What you feel is not anxiety, it is a sign of spiritual transition. It is the announcement of what I am about to deliver. You have been drawn into the radius of my action, and this changes everything. The speed changes, the environment changes, the war changes, the atmosphere changes. Your story begins to change while you are here, listening to my voice. I need you to understand, when the heavens move in this way, nothing remains the same. Things that used to take years begin to happen in days. Things that seemed impossible begin to unlock easily. Doors that no one has ever opened begin to give way. What was still begins to flow. What was dead begins to breathe. What was distant begins to draw near. Because it's not just the heavens moving, it's me moving. And when I move, everything responds. This urgent movement is not random. It has focus, direction, and purpose. I am highlighting spiritual resources to favor you. I am altering scenarios over which you have no control. I am shortening paths. I am closing gaps that the enemy used against you. I am removing people who were holding you back and bringing closer people who will accelerate your mission. None of this is coincidence, it is intervention. And in the midst of this celestial movement, there is something I desire from you, that you become a participant, not just a spectator. What I am bringing into your life is not something to be kept silent, but something that needs to expand. When you share what comes from me, you align yourself with the flow of heaven and allow my word to overcome the barriers that surrounded you. That is why I tell you now, share this message as an act of faith, because what is moving upon you will also reach those who are connected to your obedience. Breathe in this moment. What I will do in the next part will show you even more of what is being released in your favor. My child, now I want you to hear something that needs to sink deep into your spirit. What I am about to declare is not a future promise, not a distant possibility, not something still being discussed in heaven. What I am about to reveal to you is a decree, a perfect, complete, and irrevocable decree that has already come from my mouth, has already been recorded in my books, and is already marked in the time I have established for your life. Today, at this very moment, I declare before you, your miracle has been released. It is not being analyzed. It is not being prepared. It has already been released. I have decided. And when I decide, nothing created can undo it. When I determine, no force, visible or invisible, can interfere. When I seal something, no one can break it. You need to understand that this is not about opinion, emotion, or circumstance. It is about my eternal authority, my sovereign word that governs all that exists. Your miracle is not a request waiting for an answer. It is an answer waiting for your faith. Jesus stood before me, bringing your name with honor, with love, and with holy insistence. He did not ask out of fear. He did not plead out of insecurity. He spoke with the certainty of one who gave his life for you, with the authority of one who conquered death, with the conviction of one who carries in his hands the marks that guarantee your victory. He presented your tears to me not as defeat, but as seeds. He presented your pain to me not as failure, but as arguments. He presented your faith, however small, as irrefutable proof that your heart still sought me. And I said yes. I said yes to what my son asked. I said yes to what your heart cried out for. I said yes to what your soul longed for. I said yes to what the enemy tried to destroy. I said yes to what seemed impossible. And it will not be a symbolic yes. It will not be a delayed yes. It will not be an incomplete yes. It is a yes decreed, sealed, and sent. What is about to happen in your life is not something that will depend on human decisions. It is not something that will depend on the approval of others. It is not something that will depend on the circumstances around you. The miracle that I have released surpasses natural limits, crosses spiritual barriers, and is fulfilled because it was born on my throne. And everything that is born on my throne manifests on earth in its appointed time. I saw when you grew weary. I perceived when your strength waned. I noticed when your hope seemed to fade. But I also saw something that heaven honors. You did not give up completely. Perhaps you dragged yourself down inside. Perhaps you cried silently. Perhaps you doubted yourself. But you did not abandon me. And so, now, I tell you with the voice of decree, what you lacked will arrive. What wounded you will be healed. What blocked you will be unlocked. What seemed trapped will be released. And you will begin to notice the change not only around you, but within you. Your spirit will become lighter. Your heart will begin to feel peace in areas where before there was only heaviness. You will perceive new thoughts, a clearer direction, an inner impulse that did not come from you, but from my breath. Because when I decree something, I begin by transforming your inner self first, so that when the manifestation arrives, you recognize it as mine and not as chance. My son, I do not want you to doubt this moment. I do not want your mind to try to reduce what I am doing to what you have already experienced. This decree is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is greater, deeper, more complete. Therefore, I ask you now, as an act of agreement and spiritual openness, like and subscribe to declare that you receive the decree I have released over your life. From the next section onward, I will begin to show you what this decree will move, break through, and build in your life. What comes next will show you that heaven is already at work on your behalf. My child, now I need you to listen to something calmly, because this part of my message is not meant to inform you, but to heal you. I tell you with the depth of my truth, I saw your pain. Not just a part of it, not only the moments that were evident to human eyes, but every hidden fragment of your suffering. I was there on the nights you woke up with a racing heart, not knowing how to bear the weight of the next day. I was there when you lay, trying to hide your tears even from yourself, imagining that no one would ever understand what you were going through. I saw, I heard, I felt. Nothing you endured went unnoticed in heaven. There were days when you rose weakly, and I saw the silent effort you made to continue. There were moments when your thoughts became heavy, confused, dark, and you believed that this was abandonment, but I never abandoned you. When your chest ached, when your soul trembled, when your spirit seemed too small to withstand another attack, I was there. And even when you didn't feel me, it was my hand that held you up so that you wouldn't sink completely. You tried to be strong for others, tried to smile to maintain normalcy, tried to fulfill responsibilities that seemed too heavy. And while everyone around you only saw your exterior, I saw your interior begging for rest. I saw that question you never said aloud, until when? I saw the knot that formed deep in your soul when you pretended everything was all right. I saw the exhaustion that no one noticed because you wanted to be strong and didn't want to worry anyone. My child, I tell you with love, you didn't need to carry everything alone. I was with you every second. When you cried silently in the bathroom so as not to be noticed, I was there. When your mind told you that no one cared, I was watching you with my unwavering love. When you looked at the ceiling in the middle of the night and said to yourself, God, if you see me, give me a sign, that moment echoed in my throne like a cry. And I saw you, I heard you. I answered. Nothing you experienced was ignored. None of your despair was disregarded. Not a single tear fell to the ground without me collecting it. When you thought I was silent, I was working in the depths of your soul, strengthening areas you considered weak, preparing your spirit to endure that which was beyond your human comprehension. You were hurt at times when you expected support. You were disappointed by people who should have sustained you. You were burdened with responsibilities you weren't capable of carrying, and you believed this was punishment or rejection. But I tell you, it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It wasn't rejection, it was preservation. It wasn't absence, it was protection. You didn't realize it, but I freed you from situations that would have broken your heart even more. I closed doors that would have destroyed you. I removed people from your life because they wouldn't support you at the next level. I saw your inner battles, the ones you fought alone. That thought that came at the end of the day telling you that you weren't enough. That feeling of failure that made you doubt your worth. That fear that accompanied you in moments of silence. I saw it all. And none of those things represent who you are. They were reflections of the pain you carried, not of your identity. Now I tell you, your pain was not wasted. It was recorded, observed, and transformed into the foundation for what I am building. Each of your tears became an argument before my throne. Each heavy night became a testimony before me. Every time you said, I can't take it anymore, I answered in the invisible, but I sustain you. Your surviving all of this is no accident, it is purpose. You got this far because I brought you here. You stayed because I carried you. And now that you have seen that your pain did not destroy you, you will understand in the next part what each of those tears meant in the spiritual world. You will not see your story the same way after this revelation. This concludes this section. What I will show you next will completely transform your perception of what you have experienced. My child, now I want to reveal something to you that few understand, but that has always been part of how I relate to my own. Every tear of yours was seen, felt, and recorded by me. There is not a single tear that has fallen on the pillow without me knowing. There is not a single tear that has flowed silently, thinking that no one noticed you, without me being there, present, embracing the weight of that moment. You cried thinking it was only pain, only sadness, only exhaustion, but I tell you, your tears were never small. They carry history, they carry depth, they carry faith, even when you thought they were a sign of weakness. Something happens in heaven every time one of your tears falls. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't evaporate. It's not lost. They are collected, kept, and presented before my throne as a memorial. To me, tears are words. They are records. They are spiritual marks that show how much you tried, how much you gave, how much you endured, even when no one else saw. Tears speak. They speak what your mouth lacked the strength to express. They cry out for what your heart secretly asked for. They carry requests that you couldn't even formulate. I keep them because they are precious. I keep them because they are part of your journey. I keep them because each one of them testifies to your resilience, your hope, your search for me, even when you felt weak. The tears you shed trying to understand why certain things happened, I collected. The tears you shed when you felt alone, I collected. The tears of frustration, fear, anguish, worry, confusion, I saw them all and I kept them all. And when Jesus appeared before me with your name, he brought with him this heavenly chalice where your tears are kept. He didn't just present requests, he presented evidence. He showed that, even wounded, you persevered. Even tired, you tried one more day. Even fearing the future, you sought strength to rise. Your tears became proof of your faith, and therefore they have enormous value before me. My son, I know that many times you thought you had failed by crying. You thought you displeased me by showing yourself so fragile. You thought I expected a strength from you that you didn't possess. But it's the opposite. Your tears brought me even closer to you. They revealed your heart to me. They showed me that you were sincere, that you were true, that you stood before me exactly as you were, without masks. That is worship. That is surrender. That is real faith. Understand something profound. The tears I hold are not reminders of your pain, but seeds of your victory. They represent not only suffering, but preparation. Each of your tears built a path in the invisible. Each of your tears opened space for the miracle I released to enter. Tears are never a loss. They always return in the form of strength, clarity, and transformation. I use them to write your story in an even more powerful way. What you have lived through will not be erased, it will be redeemed. What hurt you will not be ignored, it will be transformed. What made you fall will not be shame, it will be a testimony. And all of this begins with how I dealt with your tears. Now, as a sign of agreement with what I am revealing to you, declare in my spiritual courts that you recognize the value of what you have experienced. Comment 7,777 inches response to everything I'm saving and transforming for your benefit. In the next part, I will show you what these tears will bring about and how they are already moving heaven and earth to favor you. My child, now I come to undo something that has long tried to take root within you, the lie of abandonment. This is one of the oldest and cruelest arrows of the enemy because it attacks not only your thoughts, but your very identity. When you believe you have been left aside, when you feel that no one sees you, when you think that I have distanced myself, your soul begins to bow under a weight that did not come from me. And that is why I need to speak to you clearly. None of these feelings originated from my voice. They were all built in the darkness of the pain you faced and fueled by the lies the enemy whispered while you were vulnerable. I saw you when you felt alone, but you weren't. I saw you when you tried to take a deep breath to keep going, but felt like you lacked the air to live. I saw you when you looked at the sky and said to yourself, "Is God still with me?" You thought I was distant, when in truth I was walking so close that if your spiritual eyes were open, you would burst into tears at the intensity of my presence. The abandonment you felt never came from me. It came from the pain that surrounded you, the weariness that consumed your mind, the struggle that seemed endless. In all the moments when you felt invisible, I was more attentive than ever. When you thought no one noticed your effort, I was recording every detail. When you thought your prayers were lost in the air, I was gathering every word, even those you couldn't pronounce. The lie of abandonment infiltrates the spaces where your soul feels fragile. It takes advantage of the wounds that have arisen throughout your history and tries to convince you that you are alone, that you have no direction, that you have no value. But I tell you, these voices are not mine. My son, I never left you, not for a second, not for an instant, not even on the darkest days. When loneliness tried to suffocate you, I was the breath that kept you alive. When your thoughts became too heavy, I gave you the strength to resist. When you said, "I can't anymore," I was there, sustaining your spirit so that you wouldn't fall to a point of no return. The abandonment you felt was a consequence of the spiritual war you were waging, not a consequence of my absence. I was there when you cried in silence. I was there when you tried to explain your pain and no one understood. I was there when you were judged, misunderstood, ignored. And even though you believed I did nothing, I did more than you can imagine. I protected your mind when it was at its limit. I closed doors that would have destroyed your soul. I removed people who would have drained you even more. I prevented attacks you never knew existed. I was fighting for you while you could barely stand. Now I tell you, this lie will no longer have power over you. I tear away, before my own eyes, this feeling that you were not loved, cared for, or seen. I dispel the idea that you were alone. You never were. It doesn't matter what you felt. What matters is the truth, and the truth is that I walked with you through all scenarios, including those you wanted to forget. Something new is being built within you now. You are beginning to feel a different kind of warmth, as if something is being released in your soul. It is the weight of abandonment being ripped away and replaced by the certainty of my presence. You will perceive, as you continue with this message, a peace growing, occupying spaces that were once filled with fear. This peace does not come from you, it comes from me. It is my seal. It is my confirmation. And now, I tell you with love and purpose, share this word, because there are people around you carrying the same lies that I am breaking down in you right now. Breathe. The next part will show you what Jesus is doing right now to ensure that none of this ever again holds your heart captive. My child, now I lead you into what is happening on my throne at this very moment. I want you to understand something that few can perceive. Jesus not only loves you, he intercedes for you with the intensity of one who gave his own life to save you. He is before me now, not silent, not distant, not distracted, but absolutely focused on presenting your case perfectly. He speaks your name as one who carries it written on his heart. He speaks of you as one who knows every pain, every detail, every struggle you have faced. And while he speaks, heaven falls silent. Your name is not one among many. Your name is pronounced with reverence by my Son. He presents your story before me with the precision of one who saw every second of what you lived. He reminds heaven of the tears he collected, of the nights you lay unsure if you could endure the next day, of the moments when you felt too small to face what lay ahead. He shows the chalice where your tears were kept and declares before me that each one of them has eternal weight. When Jesus stands before my throne to intercede for you, he does not speak with uncertainty. He speaks with authority. He presents his own marks as a seal of what he has accomplished. The wounds in his hands, in his feet, and in his side are eternal testimonies, and the enemy cannot dispute it. And he says, "Father, this is the one for whom I paid the price. This is the one for whom I bled. This is the one for whom I descended to death. This is the one who, even wounded, even tired, still believes that you see him. He reminds me of every act of yours, including those moments when you thought you had failed. He values what you despise, strengthens what you underestimated, and presents your faith even small as a jewel before me. Jesus is not before me merely as an intercessor. He is here as the perfect advocate. He argues with irrefutable evidence. He refutes the accusations the enemy has tried to raise against you, exposing the lies that have attempted to enter your mind. He presents not only what you have done, but who you are. He reveals your essence, your efforts, your sincere pursuit, your true repentance, and your willingness to continue even when you seemed powerless. There is something you need to understand. When Jesus speaks for you, he speaks as one who demands that divine justice be fulfilled. Not the justice that condemns you, but the justice that restores you. He reminds heaven that you have a right to victory. He reminds them that you have a right to a miracle. He reminds them that you have a right to be lifted up, healed, restored, and honored. And I confirm every word he says. While this intercession takes place, angels position themselves. They move to the sound of Jesus' words. They receive specific instructions to act in your life. He doesn't speak generically. He speaks of you, exactly as you are, with details that only he knows. And I respond, I release, I command, I move. All because my Son places himself between your sorrows and my throne with absolute love. When Jesus presents your case, the whole of heaven mobilizes. What seemed silent to you is now filled with spiritual activity. What you thought was still is now in motion. He speaks and eternity trembles. He speaks and barriers begin to crumble. He speaks and what took years begins to accelerate. He speaks and what was closed begins to open. That is why I brought you here, so that you might understand that your miracle does not depend on your human strength, but on the intercession of my Son. It is not about your abilities, it is about what he does in your favor, and he is doing it now. Therefore, as a gesture of spiritual agreement, like and subscribe to declare that you receive the active intercession of my Son over your story. Prepare your heart, because in the next part, I will show you how this intercession is revealing details about you that you yourself haven't even noticed. My child, now I want to lead you to an even deeper level of my voice. After showing you what Jesus is doing before my throne, it's time to reveal something that only I know about you. There are areas of your soul that you have never been able to fully express to anyone. There are thoughts you have kept silent, fears you have hidden so as not to appear weak, guilt you have carried alone because you thought no one would understand. All of this has lived within you like a secret weight, and I have seen every detail. I know that thought that comes to you when you're exhausted and tells you that you're not enough. I know that feeling that overwhelms you when you think you always have to be strong for others, even when you feel broken inside. I know that internal struggle you have when you recall past events that still hurt you, even if you've already tried to move on. I know the tightness you feel when the responsibility weighs too heavily, when you try to appear strong, but your inner self is crying out for rest. I know the fear you have of disappointing those who trust you. I know the fear of failing, of not being capable, of not achieving what you expect of yourself. I know the times you compared yourself to others, always thinking you're behind, always falling short, always inferior. I know the times the enemy took advantage of your vulnerability to make you believe lies about your worth, your identity, and your future. And I want you to understand, none of these conclusions came from me. They came from pain, not from truth. There's a part of you that you yourself don't fully understand. A part that reacts before thinking, that feels before it can explain, that gets hurt easily because it has lived more than it imagined it could bear. I know that part better than you do. I know why you have such deep sensitivity, why you're affected by things others would ignore, why you have difficulty trusting, why you're afraid of being rejected, why your heart sometimes closes quickly to avoid further hurt. I don't condemn you for it. I understand you. I understand you. You have judged yourself harshly for behaviors stemming from old wounds. You believed you were wrong, unstable, too complicated. But I want to reveal something. What you consider weakness is actually part of your emotional structure, which I myself gave you. You feel deeply because you were created to love deeply. You worry intensely because you were created to care intensely. You are easily hurt because your soul was molded to be sensitive to the pain of others. You are not weak, you are sensitive. And sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a gift that was wounded but not destroyed. I know every memory that causes you discomfort. I know the words that marked you, the looks that hurt you, the losses that made you crumble inside. I know the guilt you carried when you believed you could have done something differently in the past. I know the frustration you felt when your plans didn't work out, when your expectations were dashed, when you felt small in the face of what you faced. But I want to show you something profound. I never saw these things as reasons to distance myself from you. On the contrary, it was these broken areas that brought me even closer to your heart. It was these loose pieces that made me walk with you more carefully, more gently, more intentionally. You were never rejected by me, never disappointed me, never burdened me. Everything you hid, I always knew. Everything you feared, I always understood. I know your motives, even when you regret your reactions. I know your pain before you can even name it. I know your heart more deeply than you can understand. I know your limits, your conflicts, your weaknesses, but I also know your strength, your kindness, your courage, and your sincere desire to do what is right. Now, I want to prepare you for the next step. You need to understand all of this because in the next part, I will reveal to you what Jesus is doing at this very moment to transform each of these inner areas. Nothing remains hidden when it is brought into my light. And I am illuminating your inner self not to expose you, but to heal you. You will not emerge from this message the same. I am rebuilding you from the inside out. My child, now I want you to realize something that is happening while you listen to my voice. Jesus is acting in your favor at this very moment. Not later, not tomorrow, not when things get better, but now. His intercession is not just a memory of the past, nor a distant promise of the future. It is alive, constant, active, pulsating. He moves for you every second. Heaven doesn't wait for your situation to change, to act. Heaven acts so that your situation changes. And while you listen to this message, there is a spiritual movement happening in your name. Jesus stands before me with an air of absolute authority and love. He doesn't just present your pain, he presents your essence. He doesn't just talk about what has hurt you, he declares who I created you to be. And as he speaks, angels position themselves around areas of your life that were vulnerable. Angels are being sent to cut ties that bound you, to undo plots that were against you, to remove obstacles you never managed to identify. They move with precision because they know exactly what is being ordained for you. You thought nothing was happening because your eyes couldn't see the change. But in the invisible realm, much is being transformed. Emotional, spiritual, and even circumstantial chains are being broken while you simply remain here. There are arrows that were being prepared against you and are now being pulled off their trajectory. There are attacks that were being orchestrated against your mind and are now being undone. Jesus is canceling negative words that were launched against your life. He is thwarting the enemy's plans before they can even reach you. There are doors you haven't seen yet, but they've begun to open because of his intercession. There are people who will begin to be moved toward you without you even realizing the origin of the movement. There are opportunities being aligned because Jesus is touching areas of your future that you don't even imagine belong to you. None of this is spiritual exaggeration, it's heavenly reality. You are being defended, protected, and favored while your mind is still trying to comprehend what it's hearing. Jesus is undoing accusations that have been leveled against you in the spiritual realms. He is canceling old agreements that tried to keep you bound to feelings, habits, or pains that no longer belong to you. He is recalibrating your path, redirecting your steps, strengthening areas of yourself that were fragile. He is restoring parts of your story that you thought were irreversibly damaged. There is inner work being done as well. He is touching on what you yourself have not been able to change. He is healing emotional wounds that you have hidden even from yourself. He is removing old burdens that have accompanied you for years. He is working on your self-esteem, your identity, your ability to believe, your spiritual strength. He is preparing you to receive what I have already decreed. When Jesus moves, nothing remains the same. And I want you to know, He's not just praying for you, He's guaranteeing your victory. He's not just defending you, He's repositioning you. He's not just interceding, He's acting. You are being transformed, even if you don't fully realize it yet. And now, as an act of agreement with what Jesus is doing behind the scenes in your life, enjoy this video as a spiritual declaration that you receive this active influence on your life. Breathe, my son. The next part will show you the magnitude of the spiritual battle being waged so that all of this may manifest before your eyes. My son, now I reveal to you something you need to understand in order to comprehend what is happening in your life. There are battles you are facing that did not begin within you, were not born from your decisions, and are not a product of your imagination. They began in the spiritual realm, and many of the struggles you have felt in recent months were not merely human situations, but opposing forces attempting to prevent what I have decreed upon you. You were not fighting alone. You were being attacked because heaven was already moving in your favor. There are spiritual forces that arose when they sensed your season was changing. They tried to block your mind, making you believe you were too weak to continue. They tried to confuse you emotionally, creating sudden insecurities that seemed to come from nowhere. They tried to pressure you with thoughts that weren't yours, whispering doubts, anxieties, and fears that settled in as if they were born within you. But I tell you, none of this originated in your heart. They were spiritual attacks. You realized this when, for no apparent reason, your mood fluctuated. When you were fine one moment and completely demotivated minutes later. When you tried to move forward, but it seemed like something was holding your feet back. When you were about to make important decisions, but an invisible resistance surrounded you, creating mental confusion, emotional exhaustion, and even unexplained discouragement. These feelings were not spiritual failure, they were signs of war. I want you to understand, if the enemy rose up in this way, it's because something was being prepared in heaven. He doesn't invest energy in those who aren't about to experience something great. He doesn't fight against those who are stagnant. He fights against those who are about to advance. And you were closer to your turning point than you imagined. That's why the tensions increased, why the nights became heavier, why you thought you couldn't endure another day. The pressure increased because the breakthrough was near. Throughout this period, you realized that simple things became difficult. Small problems gained exaggerated weight. Tasks that were once easy began to wear you down. Relationships became complicated for no reason. Doors that seemed right suddenly closed. This was not bad luck, this was not coincidence, this was not your fault. It was spiritual resistance. And this resistance did not arise because you were weak, but because you became dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. There was an attempt to make you give up prematurely, an attempt to tire you, demotivate you, isolate you. The enemy knew that if you entered the season I had prepared, your life would be completely transformed. And he tried in every way to delay, distract, or confuse your heart. He tried to make you believe I was distant, when in truth, I was closer than ever. He tried to convince you that you have no value, when in heaven your name was being spoken with honor. But now I tell you, this battle was not a loss, it was confirmation. Confirmation that your promise is real, confirmation that your miracle is near, confirmation that something great is materializing in the invisible. And that is why I am revealing this to you now, so that you no longer carry guilt or doubt about what you experienced. You were not crumbling, you were being attacked because you were being lifted up. You can't imagine how many times I protected you while this war was happening. Attacks you never knew about were neutralized, traps you never saw were thwarted. The enemy planned downfalls you never experienced because I sustained you. He orchestrated ambushes and accusations that didn't touch you because Jesus was interceding before they reached you. Now, my son, as part of this spiritual movement, I ask you for a simple act of faith. Share this message, because there are people close to you who are fighting battles they don't understand, and through your obedience I will reach their hearts. Prepare your spirit. In the next part, I will show you what happens when I rise up to act in this war. Nothing can resist my movement. My child, now I reveal to you the moment when everything changes, the instant when I rise to act in your favor. Every spiritual battle has a limit, and that limit is determined by my authority. There is a point where the enemy's resistance ceases, not because he has given up, but because I have commanded him to stop. There is a point where darkness recedes, not because it has weakened, but because my light has advanced. And when I rise, no opposing force remains standing. You have faced pressures, attacks, and confusion that seemed intent on breaking you, and perhaps you thought I was taking too long to act. But I never delay. I act at the precise moment when my intervention will have the greatest impact on your life. And I tell you, I have risen, not to observe, but to intervene. Not merely to comfort you, but to destroy that which was trying to stop you. When I rise, that which oppressed you loses its voice. That which surrounded you loses its strength. That which attacked you loses its right, because my presence does not enter a room as a guest, it enters as ruler. And when I enter, everything must adjust. Atmospheres change, chains break, accusations are silenced, interferences dissipate. Nothing that rose up against you remains. My presence does not compete for space, it dominates. You need to understand that my intervention is not symbolic, it is real. When I move, I reorganize spiritual structures. I reposition angels. I break cycles that were trying to repeat themselves in your life. I destroy strongholds that have formed in your mind. I remove influences that you never realized were draining you. I undo spiritual alliances that were created against you without your permission. I establish a new environment around you. While I speak to you now, there are things happening in the invisible realm that you will feel in the coming days. You will notice that areas that seemed stuck will begin to move. You will see doors that wouldn't open beginning to give way. You will feel a growing strength within you, as if a weight has been lifted from your spirit. This is not psychological. This is a reflection of my direct intervention. I am undoing everything that tried to confuse your mind. I am bringing clarity where there was fog. I am bringing direction where there was indecision. I am bringing peace where there was storm. When I rise, the war changes sides. That which attacked you now retreats. That which resisted you now bends. That which surrounded you now dissolves. My presence establishes order where there was once chaos. And I want you to know, you were not weak in the days you fell apart. You were attacked, and now you are being lifted up. That is the difference between fighting alone and fighting with my presence. I am standing for you, and if I am standing, nothing that rises against you will remain. Therefore, my son, as a sign that you align yourself with what I am doing. Sign up to remain under my voice, because that's how you keep your spirit attentive to what I am releasing. Prepare your heart. In the next part, I will show you how this intervention has already begun to produce victory in the invisible realm, even before you perceive it in the natural realm. My child, now I reveal to you something that needs to bring profound peace to your heart. Victory has already been decided in heaven, even before any sign appeared on earth. You have looked at your reality, hoping it would tell you when everything will get better. But your reality has no authority to define your future. I am the one who defines it, and I have already determined that this battle has ended in your favor. Even when you don't perceive any change, the spiritual world is already completely different. The war was won before you could see its effects. There are times when you feel like you're in the middle of the battle, as if nothing has changed, as if the weight is the same, as if the circumstances are frozen. But you don't realize that many of the things that imprisoned you have already been undone. Chains have been broken in the invisible. Doors have been unlocked in the invisible. Traps have been nullified in the invisible. The enemy has already lost ground around you, and he knows it. He knows that you have been surrounded by my presence and that the decree of heaven favors you. That is why, even without understanding, you began to feel something different within you. Sometimes it is just a lighter sigh, a feeling of peace that arrives without explanation, a sudden rest in the soul. Other times it is the impression that the worst is over, even if nothing has changed around you. These are signs that victory has already been released in the spiritual world. Your inner self is reacting to what I have already done. Your soul is recognizing that which has not yet fully manifested in your eyes. Do you know that moment when you feel something good is coming, but you can't quite identify what it is? That's your spirit perceiving the advance of victory. Do you know when you wake up feeling a little lighter for no apparent reason? That's a reflection of what I've already broken against you. Do you know when bad thoughts that once dominated you begin to lose their power? That's the enemy retreating because it has lost access to your mind. Do you know when you feel that something inside you has been untied, even if you can't explain how? That's the result of the intervention I released. The enemy tries to convince you that nothing has changed because he has lost ground to attack you, but he hasn't lost the ability to try to deceive you. He knows he cannot stop what I have determined, so he tries to create illusions, tries to distort your perception, tries to make you believe you are standing still when, in fact, you are advancing. He tries to frighten you because he cannot stop you. He tries to confuse you because he cannot touch you. He tries to tire you because he cannot defeat you. But I tell you, do not be deceived. Your victory has already been decreed. And when I decree, there is no force, person, situation, or circumstance capable of reversing it. My word does not go back. My decrees are not undone. My decision does not change. You are not fighting to conquer victory. You are walking to find it. It already exists. It has already been signed. It is already on your path. Now you will only reach it in the time I have determined. You will yet see the fulfillment of this in detail. What happened in the invisible will begin to manifest in the natural. You will see doors that previously wouldn't move begin to open easily. You will see paths that seemed closed become accessible. You will see people being raised up to help you without you having asked. You will see a change so clear that there will be no doubt that it was my hand. This part of the process is the quietest, but also the most important. It's where you learn to trust in what I have done before seeing it with your own eyes. It's where you realize that your faith is not based on the visible, but on the eternal. And it's where I strengthen you to receive what comes next. In the next part, I will show you why you needed to go through all of this and how each pain you experienced became a brick in the miracle that is being built. You will understand that nothing was wasted, everything was transformed. My son, now I want you to pay attention to something that will completely change the way you see your own story. For a long time, you believed that certain pains you experienced were useless, meaningless, unfair, or even signs that I had abandoned you. But today I tell you with all the truth that comes from my throne, nothing you experienced was in vain, absolutely nothing. Every detail, every tear, every loss, every silence, every wait, every closed door, every difficult night, all of this was part of a profound construction that you couldn't see, but that I was overseeing perfectly. You look back at certain periods of your life and thought they were wasted, delayed, a failure, but I was working while you thought you were standing still. I was aligning things within you, creating roots that could not be uprooted later. I was strengthening your character, shaping your faith, purifying your intentions, expanding your capacity to feel, love, understand, and discern. None of this was random. You were being shaped while you thought you were being broken. I saw when you asked, "Why did this happen to me?" And even though I didn't answer at the time, today I reveal it to you because you needed to be strengthened in areas you didn't even know were weak. You needed to learn to depend on me at deeper levels. You needed to recognize that what I would build in your life could not be sustained by a superficial faith. You needed to grow inwardly before you could grow outwardly. There are pains you thought were unfair, but which taught you to distinguish what is true from what is fleeting. There are people who hurt you, but serve to show you who should truly walk with you and who cannot enter the next phase of your life. There are losses that hurt more than you can explain, but which open space for things I was preserving for you. There are waits that seem too long, but which prepared you to receive what was to come in a mature, conscious, and firm way. You grew during the days you thought you were falling behind. You grew stronger when you thought you were crumbling. You drew closer to me when the world seemed distant. You became wiser when you faced situations you didn't understand. And even during the times you believed your faith was weak, I was sustaining you and adding strength to your spirit. Nothing was in vain because I transformed every detail into a construction. You didn't realize it, but your tears cleared paths. They washed away old sorrows, removed burdens you had carried for a long time, and opened space for me to act freely. You didn't realize it, but the silences that hurt were moments when I taught you to hear my voice differently. You didn't realize it, but the loneliness that frightened you was the ground where I began to reveal to you who you truly are, and not just who you tried to be to please others. I was with you through everything, not just as a spectator, but as the author. While you were living through chapters you didn't understand, I was carefully writing your story. I knew exactly where everything would lead you. Nothing escaped my gaze, nothing escaped my control, nothing happened without my permission. And if I allowed it, it was because it would become an instrument of elevation in your life. You have become stronger, more sensitive, deeper, more human, more prepared to carry what I am placing in your hands now. The pain you so vehemently rejected has made you greater than you imagine. It did not diminish you, it expanded you. It did not destroy you, it transformed you. It did not extinguish you, it rekindled you in places you didn't even know were dark. And now, my son, to seal this awareness in your spirit, comment now on something that your pain has taught you, because what you acknowledge before me becomes the seed for your next victory. Breathe. In the next part, I will show you how this pain turned into strength, and how what seemed like weakness became the foundation of your preparation for what I am about to release. My child, now I want to show you something you never fully realized. The pain you faced did not weaken you. It strengthened you in ways you will only understand now. Many times, you looked at your own feelings and judged that you were becoming more sensitive, more fragile, or more vulnerable. But what you called fragility was, in fact, the most profound strengthening process I have ever performed within you. Your pain did not diminish who you are, it revealed who you have become. Every time you thought you were breaking, I was shaping you. Every time you felt you were falling, I was strengthening your spiritual structure. Through your tears, I brought forth resilience. Through your fears, I brought forth courage. Through your losses, I brought forth maturity. Through your doubts, I brought forth discernment. None of this happened lightly or simply, because the greatest strengths are born in depths that only pain can reach. You became stronger than you were before your pain. You rose from situations that many wouldn't endure. You reinvented your emotional life without even realizing it. You learned to look at people differently, with more compassion, more wisdom, more prudence. You became someone who doesn't react impulsively like before, because you learned to filter emotions and recognize spiritual patterns that you didn't see before. I saw the moment you said, "I can't take it anymore," and yet you got up the next day. That's strength. I saw the day you felt completely empty, but still did what needed to be done. That's strength. I saw when you were hurt by people you loved deeply, and yet your heart didn't turn to stone. That's strength. I saw when you faced difficult decisions and, even with fear, chose what was right. That's strength. Pain taught you resilience, but it also taught you depth. It taught you to listen to what lies behind people's words, to perceive emotions that others ignore, to identify falsehoods before they reach you. It taught you to observe more, to feel more, to understand more. And this, my son, is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess, sensitivity combined with wisdom. You are no longer the person you were before all this. You have matured beyond what you realized. You have become someone who understands your limits, your triggers, your emotional needs. You have become someone who knows when something doesn't align with your peace. You have become someone who has learned to distance yourself from environments that drain your soul. Pain gave you criteria. Pain gave you vision. Pain gave you awareness. She also gave you something you may not recognize: spiritual resilience. You were attacked, pressured, tired, worn down, but you didn't give up. And that means your spirit is stronger now than it ever was. Before, you fell over small things. Today, you withstand storms that would have brought you down before. That is growth. That is strength. That is maturity that cannot be bought, that cannot be learned from books, that is born only in the furnace where I refined you. I tell you, none of this was by chance. The strength that was born from your pain is exactly the strength needed to sustain what I am about to place in your hands. The level of blessing I have released upon your life demands emotional, spiritual, and mental structure, and you have it, because I formed it, and you allowed yourself to be worked on. Even tired, even hurt, even confused, you continued. This is something I honor. Now, as confirmation in your spirit that you recognize this strength that I have formed within you, enjoy this message as a prophetic act, declaring that you are stronger today than you were yesterday. Take a deep breath. In the next part, I will show you how this entire process has perfectly aligned your heart with my purpose, so that you can fearlessly receive what is already coming your way. My child, now I reveal to you something that perhaps you have never consciously perceived. Your heart is different. It is no longer the wounded, confused, racing, anxious, or fragmented heart that you carried for so long. The process you have lived through, however hard, however lonely, however incomprehensible, has not only matured you, it has aligned you. And it is this inner alignment that allows you, from this moment on, to walk within my purpose without getting lost in the emotional detours that previously destabilized you. There were areas within you that needed adjusting, but you didn't know how to access them. There were thoughts that repeated themselves for years, preventing you from moving forward. There were emotional patterns that always made you fall into the same places. There were insecurities that prevented you from recognizing your own worth. There were fears that kept you stuck in the past. All of this was hidden in the deep layers of your soul, and only an intense process could bring it all to the surface so that I could transform it. That's what happened. Now, your heart is lighter. You may not have fully noticed, but you no longer carry the weight you once thought would be eternal. There are wounds that, even if not completely healed, no longer control you. There are memories that, although still present, no longer direct your choices. There are old fears that have lost their power. There are inner voices that once dominated you and are now silent. This is a sign of alignment. You are more sensitive to my voice. Before, you had difficulty discerning what came from me and what came from your emotions. Now, your spiritual sensitivity has increased, and you can perceive when I speak to you, even if it is through subtle signs. You can also perceive when something does not come from me, and this sensitivity is a powerful protection. I also aligned your priorities. Things that once deeply affected you no longer have the same impact. You no longer wear yourself out over trivial things. You no longer cling so tightly to what doesn't belong to you. You no longer easily surrender to situations that drain your peace. You chose, even without realizing it, to protect what is essential, and that is spiritual maturity. Your heart is also wiser. You have learned to observe before reacting, to reflect before deciding, to feel before surrendering. You have developed a sharper perception of people and environments. You can perceive when someone comes with genuine intentions and when someone approaches only to drain your energy. You can also sense when an environment is spiritually charged and when it is peaceful. This is the result of the alignment I have made within you. I have purified your motivations. Before, you sought answers to alleviate pain. Today, you seek direction to walk in purpose. Before, you only wanted the struggle to end. Today, you want to understand its purpose. Before, you reacted impulsively. Today, you act consciously. Before, you were guided by emotional need. Today, you are guided by my presence. You are no longer guided by need, but by clarity. You are no longer driven by insecurity, but by conviction. You are no longer imprisoned by the past, but drawn to the future I have prepared for you. And that is why I tell you, now you are ready. Not perfect, but that's it. Not flawless, but aligned. Not without flaws, but with your heart set in the right direction. I have restored your spiritual vision. Now you can see what was once hazy. Things that confused you now make sense. Situations you interpreted as injustice now reveal themselves as protection. Doors you thought you had lost now show themselves as doors I closed to spare you. People who left your life are now recognized as part of my care, not rejection. This is healing. This is alignment. I have also strengthened your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone small, disposable, or invisible. You are beginning to realize your own worth. You are beginning to recognize gifts that I placed within you and that were hidden. You are understanding that you were not born to survive, but to fulfill a purpose that only you can fulfill. This is the greatest sign that your heart is finally in the right place. And now I tell you, Everything you have experienced has not only prepared you, but has positioned you. You are where I wanted you to be, not in a physical place, but in the ideal inner state to experience what I am about to release. The heart that was once broken is now more whole. The heart that was once unstable is now anchored. The heart that was once insecure is now firm. And when your heart aligns with my purpose, nothing can stop what I have decided to move in your life. My child, breathe deeply. You have reached the point where your inner preparation ends and where the outpouring of my promise begins. In the next part, I will show you how the miracle is already drawing closer to your reality and how you are already ready to receive it without fear, without burden, and without doubt. My son, now I need you to pay attention to what is happening at this very moment in the spiritual world. Something is moving in your direction. It is not a possibility, it is not a hope, it is not a wish, it is a miracle in motion. It has already left heaven. It has already been released before my throne. It is already traversing spiritual layers, advancing with precision to reach exactly the point where your life needs to be transformed. You are not waiting for something that might happen. Something that I have ordained is already coming to meet you. When I decide to send a miracle, it doesn't get lost. It doesn't stray. It doesn't delay beyond what is necessary. It doesn't get confused along the way. It comes with a specific destination. It comes accompanied by order, direction, purpose, and protection. And that is what is happening now. The intervention that I have determined is already descending. Like rain that begins in the sky before touching the earth, what I have released already exists, is already formed, is already in motion, even if your eyes have not yet seen any sign. The entire heavens are aligned with this release. Angels carry specific instructions with your name. They are being sent to touch environments, move hearts, open paths, and undo resistances that previously held you back. They are not coming to observe, they are coming to act. And each of their steps brings the miracle closer to your reality. You cannot imagine how close it is. You cannot imagine how much has already changed in the invisible realm since the moment your faith rose to hear my voice. There are situations being stirred right now. People are beginning to feel the impulse to do what I have commanded. Circumstances that once seemed immobile are beginning to move gently. Doors that have been closed for years are beginning to lose their locking power. Your path is being leveled. You are being prepared to perceive what is coming, to recognize what I am sending, and not to waste any opportunity that is about to present itself. And I want to tell you something you may never have considered. The miracle doesn't arrive all at once. It approaches, it descends, it invades layers. First, it touches your spiritual atmosphere. Then, it influences your emotions, bringing peace, hope, and clarity. Next, it begins to manifest in small signs. And finally, it takes shape in the natural world. You are already in the first stage. Your atmosphere is changing. Your soul is feeling. Your mind is perceiving that something has approached even without you knowing what it is. Do not ignore this subtle change within you. This feeling that something is coming is not anxiety, it is discernment. This peace that suddenly reaches you is not weakness, it is confirmation. This deep rest that appears at times is a sign that heaven is near. The miracle descends first within before touching the outside, because I always prepare the vessel before delivering the contents. Everything you have experienced up to this point has brought you to the exact level of maturity, sensitivity, and strength to receive what I have sent. If this miracle had arrived sooner, you wouldn't have been able to sustain it. If it had come during a time when your heart was still misaligned, it would have slipped away from you. If it had come when you were still insecure, you would have rejected what I was giving you. But now you are ready. Now your heart is in the right place. Now you have the roots to support what you previously only desired. My son, what is coming will surprise you. It will reach you in areas you no longer touched. It will restore parts of yourself that you believed were lost. It will raise things that have been buried for years. It will open paths that you yourself had given up trying. And you will know that it was I who did it, because it will come in such a precise, delicate, and coordinated way that no human being could have orchestrated it. And now, as an act of faith and in alignment with the spiritual movement that has already begun, share this message with someone who also needs to know that the miracle is coming. Because what you release also multiplies in your life. Breathe, because in the next part, I will show you how this miracle that is already on its way will connect directly with the transformation I have made within you. You will not only receive, you will be ready to live. My son, now that the miracle has begun to unfold, I want you to understand something very important. The first signs are already beginning to appear around you. Even if they seem small, subtle, or even easy to ignore, they already exist. Nothing begins big in the natural world. It begins big in the spiritual world and arrives in the form of signs that only those with sensitivity perceive. And your spirit is more sensitive now than ever before. Therefore, you will be able to notice these movements that would have gone unnoticed before. You will begin to feel a lightness you haven't felt in a long time. Sometimes it appears upon waking, other times in the middle of the day, and you ask yourself, why am I more at peace? This peace doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from the nearness of the miracle. The atmosphere around you is changing because what I sent is already touching your life. Peace is always the first sign that heaven has drawn near. Another sign is the change in your thoughts. Ideas that once weighed on you begin to lose their power. Fears that have accompanied you for years begin to dissolve. Situations that once caused you anxiety begin to seem smaller. This is not psychological. This is spiritual. When my movement approaches, the mind begins to be renewed before the eyes see any transformation. You will also notice small alignments happening effortlessly. An unexpected conversation that brings you an answer. A person who appears out of nowhere with a word you needed to hear. A small opportunity that opens the way for a bigger one. A coincidence so precise it can't be a coincidence. These are signs that angels are already working behind the scenes. They are adjusting details, opening paths, and guiding people in exactly the necessary direction. And there will also be internal signs, an intuition you didn't have before, a silent certainty within you, a perception that something has finally unlocked, a sudden urge to organize things, an urge to break free from what was holding you back. All of this is part of the initial manifestation of the miracle. The inner self always feels before the outer self sees. Therefore, do not despise what seems small. Signs are seeds of manifestation. They carry the signature of what is to come. I want you to also pay attention to things that begin to flow more easily. Difficult conversations that used to wear you down now become light. Situations that used to irritate you no longer affect you. Problems that used to take hours are now solved in minutes. This is my movement touching your routine. The atmosphere begins to yield when my hand is upon it. Other signs will come through specific discomforts. Yes, even that is a sign. Things you previously tolerated begin to deeply bother you. People you once accepted now begin to lose their place in your life. There are behaviors, environments, and habits that simply cease to make sense. It's the miracle pushing out everything that doesn't fit into the new phase. It's my spirit organizing your life inside and out. And perhaps you will notice something even deeper. You will begin to feel hope. Not that fragile hope, which depends on results, but a firm, silent hope that grows from within like something planted directly in your spirit. This is one of the greatest signs that the miracle is already touching your soul. The hope that comes from me does not appear through emotion, it appears through revelation. My child, I do not bring you signs to confuse you, I bring you signs to prepare you. Every detail is an indication of what is to come in its fullness. Ignore nothing. Nothing is small when it is I who send it. Every movement is coordinated, every sensation is intentional, every change is spiritual. And now, as a gesture of agreement with what has already begun to appear, comment 7,777, declaring that your eyes are open to recognize the signs. This is a prophetic act of sensitivity and alignment. In the next part, I will show you something even more powerful. How the blessing that is already approaching cannot be stopped by anyone, because it bears my seal and my decree. Prepare your spirit for this. My child, now I want you to listen with all the attention of your spirit. The blessing that is coming your way cannot be stopped by anyone. Nothing, absolutely nothing, has enough authority to stop what I, myself, have decreed over your life. People cannot stop it. The enemy cannot stop it. Circumstances cannot stop it. The past cannot stop it. Not even you, in your weakest days, were able to block what I have determined, because when I decide to bless one of my children, I, myself, keep that blessing until the exact moment it needs to manifest. The blessing that is coming has been protected by me from the beginning. It is not just any blessing. It is not something small, fleeting, or superficial. It is something profound, structured, refined, and aligned with everything I have built within you throughout this journey. It is not a product of chance. It is the result of my decree. It did not come quickly because you needed to be prepared. And now that you are aligned, strengthened, and sensitive, I, myself, am sending you what belongs to you. There were times when people tried to block you, tried to diminish you, tried to exclude you, tried to demotivate you, tried to hurt you so that you would give up prematurely. But I saw each of these attempts and I thwarted them all. What seemed like loss was deliverance. What seemed like delay was redirection. What seemed like injustice was protection. I removed people who would harm you. I hid your blessing from those who could not handle it. I closed doors that would destroy your peace. I prevented alliances that would steal your strength. None of this was by chance. It was care. The enemy also tried to create resistance. He tried to slow down your mind, to tire you emotionally, to confuse you spiritually. He tried to put weight where there was no weight. He tried to make noise where there should be silence. He tried to convince you that you were not worthy, that you were not loved, that you were not capable. But each of these arrows was detected and neutralized before it could touch the center of your soul. I silently protected you in moments when you didn't even imagine you were in danger. You were guarded at levels that only in eternity will you understand. Now I need you to understand something very profound. The blessing that is coming to you does not depend on anyone accepting you. It does not depend on anyone approving of you. It does not depend on anyone recognizing who you are. It does not depend on anyone opening doors for you. It is not conditioned on the opinion of others. It cannot be held back by envy, injustice, gossip, manipulation, or any human attempt at control. What I seal, no one breaks. What I decide, no one cancels. What I release, no one blocks. The blessing that is coming cannot be stopped because it comes imbued with my authority. It is like an arrow of light launched from my throne. Nothing in its path can stop it. Nothing can divert it. Nothing can block it. It overcomes resistance, cuts through interference, breaks down barriers, and arrives exactly where I have determined. And in this case, I have determined that it will reach you. Don't worry about those who tried to hinder you. Don't worry about those who underestimated you. Don't worry about those who tried to drag you down. The glory I pour out upon your life will not be shared with dirty hands. What I am bringing is for you, and only for you. It will not be diverted. It will not be stolen. It will not be disputed. It is yours because I decided it would be. And you will realize this impossibility of hindrance when doors begin to open in such an absurd way that you yourself will be impressed. When people begin to recognize your value without you needing to prove anything, when opportunities begin to seek you out instead of you chasing them, when what was always difficult begins to flow easily, when everything that was blocked begins to move like water, the blessing will come at a speed you have never experienced before, because what was holding you back has been removed. The atmosphere around you is being reorganized. The spiritual environment is being aligned. The path to your future is being broadened. And all this because I have decided that this would be your time. No opposing force has the power to destabilize what I am building. And now, my son, as an act of spiritual agreement, like and subscribe, declaring that you accept and receive what no one can prevent in your life. Take a deep breath, because in the next part, I will show you how your posture will be the key to further accelerating what is already coming. My son, now that the miracle is in motion and the blessing can no longer be stopped, I need to show you how you should position yourself at this very moment. What is coming to you is too great to be received with distraction, insecurity, or emotional instability. The way you position yourself in the face of what I am doing can further accelerate the process, or it can cause you to revert to old patterns that no longer suit your new phase. This is a time of spiritual vigilance, not out of fear, but out of awareness. You are no longer the person who faced so many internal battles. You have been healed, strengthened, matured, and aligned. Now, you must firmly position yourself in the place I have brought you. This means that you cannot allow external noises to confuse what is clear within you. Do not allow negative words from others to generate doubts about what I have said. Do not allow old insecurities to make you see what I am sending as something distant. Do not allow the enemy to try to resurrect feelings and fears that no longer belong to you. Your posture now must be that of someone who knows they are carrying something divine. You must walk with a conscious sense of purpose. You must protect your peace as one guards a treasure. You must filter what you hear, what you absorb, what you allow into your heart, because it is not the external world that prepares you for the miracle, it is the inner state. And the inner state that I have formed in you needs to be preserved. It's also time to focus. You can no longer be distracted by small things, by conflicts that don't belong to you, by battles that aren't yours. What once threw you off balance can no longer have a place. I brought you to a new emotional and spiritual level, and now you must honor that level. Don't get involved in environments that drain your energy. Don't connect with people who insist on living in destructive cycles. Don't give your peace back to those who never knew how to take care of it. The correct posture also involves confidence. You must walk as one who believes what I have said. You can no longer doubt yourself because of past experiences. You can no longer look at your life through the old lenses of fear or limitation. Now, you must look through the lenses of promise. He walks as one who is being led. You act as one who knows that you are being prepared. Keep your heart open as one who understands that grace is working in your favor. And there's something even more important. You have to avoid internal regression. Regression doesn't happen through external events, but through thoughts that you allow to revert. It's when you start thinking like before, when you see yourself as before, when you speak as before, when you feel as before. That's why You must. Remind yourself every day of who you have become. You are no longer the one who carried the burden alone. You are no longer the one who lived emotionally exhausted. You are no longer the one who accepted emotional or spiritual crumbs. You are no longer the one who doubted your own worth. Now, you are someone who understands your identity. You are someone who recognizes God's movement. You are someone who perceives signs. You are someone who has been refined, purified, and molded. You are someone prepared to receive and sustain what I am bringing. Don't let old thoughts try to redefine who you are. You have already been redefined by the process, by the pain transformed into strength, by the healing I released, and by the structure I built within you. Your posture should be one of readiness, not in the sense of anxiety, but in the sense of mature expectation. Wait, yes, but wait as one who knows. Rest, but rest as one who trusts. Observe, but observe as one who sees with discernment. You are no longer a spectator of your life. Now, you are a participant in what I am manifesting. My son, remember this truth. Your posture is part of the miracle. What I send always finds those who remain steadfast. You have already reached the necessary maturity. Now, keep your essence firm. What is coming is greater than you imagine, and your posture now is the soil where this promise will flourish. Breathe, because in the next part I will show you the power of speaking as one who has already received, and this will accelerate even more what is coming. My son, now I reveal to you a spiritual key that completely transforms the speed at which the miracle manifests, the way you speak. You are no longer in the phase of passive waiting, you are in the phase of spiritual possession. The miracle has already descended, has already drawn near, is already finding your heart prepared. Now, you need to align your mouth with what I have already released. You can no longer speak like someone who waits. You must speak like someone who has already received. Your words create an atmosphere. They shape the reality around you. They affirm or deny what you are about to experience. When you speak as one who still doubts, you unconsciously draw closer what should have stayed away. When you speak as one who doesn't believe, you feed fears that I have already overcome. But when you speak as one who has already received, you activate the acceleration of the promise in the spiritual world. You need to understand, faith is not just something you feel, it's something you declare, it's something you express, it's something that becomes a voice. When your mouth agrees with what I have spoken, your life begins to move in the direction of what I have determined. Speech is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. You don't need to see anything to declare. You need to declare in order to see. You will no longer say, I hope to get better. You will say, I am already being transformed. You will no longer say, I hope something happens. You will say, what God has sent is already on its way. You will no longer say, I think God will do it. You will say, God is already doing it. This change is not spiritual arrogance, it is spiritual maturity. It is when you understand that I do not operate through hesitation, but through conviction. When you speak as one who has already received, you close doors to fear, you disarm attacks of doubt, you weaken negative thoughts that were trying to take root in your mind. You strengthen yourself and establish yourself in what is true. You also need to watch how you express yourself to others. Not everyone will understand what I am doing. Not everyone will comprehend your faith. But you cannot diminish your declaration to accommodate anyone's unbelief. Speak with confidence. Speak with firmness. Speak with clarity. Speak as one who knows the author of the promise. You are not asserting your own strength. You are asserting my word, and my word does not fail. When you speak as one who has already received, you change the course of your emotions. You begin to feel what you say. You begin to believe what you declare. You begin to realize that your own soul responds to your words. You make yourself stronger. You make yourself more steadfast. You make yourself more aware of my presence. And remember, murmuring delays, gratitude accelerates, complaining weakens, declaring strengthens. When you speak negatively about your journey, you feed inner shadows that I have already illuminated. But when you declare life, hope, progress, and promise, you activate angels who are already around you with instructions in hand. You have no idea how much your words move heaven. Therefore I tell you, be careful what comes out of your mouth, because at this very moment you are in a sensitive phase of manifestation. The words you release now have weight, strength, and impact. Declare what I have said. Declare what you believe. Declare it as if it were already happening, because it already is. And now, as spiritual confirmation that you stand by faith, like this message, to declare that your words are aligned with what I have released over your life. In the next part, I will show you another powerful key, how gratitude becomes a prophetic weapon capable of opening even more paths for the miracle to manifest with clarity, strength, and speed. My son, now I want to teach you one of the most powerful keys in the spiritual world, a key that opens doors you never imagined existed, a key that accelerates processes, breaks down resistance, and confirms to heaven that your heart is ready. Gratitude, not the common emotional gratitude that depends on circumstances improving. I speak of prophetic gratitude, the kind that declares, I have already received before seeing, the kind that gives thanks not because something has arrived, but because you know it is coming, the kind that rises up as a silent decree before me, saying, I trust in what God has spoken. Gratitude is atmosphere. It changes the inner environment. It transforms your heart into a fertile place to receive what I am sending. When you give thanks, you align yourself with my movement. You make it clear that your trust is in me, not in circumstances. You say to your own soul, rest, for God has already moved. And your soul responds. It calms down, organizes itself, stabilizes itself. Gratitude silences thoughts that try to create confusion. It breaks through anxiety. It weakens doubts. It clarifies paths. You need to understand that complaining hinders processes. It closes doors. It clouds your vision. It gives the enemy openings. It puts you in the wrong vibration. It connects you to fear and uncertainty. Complaining says, I see nothing. Gratitude says, I see through faith. Complaining keeps you stuck on what's lacking. Gratitude propels you towards what's coming. Complaining prevents you from recognizing small signs. Gratitude allows you to recognize subtle touches from heaven. And here's a secret that few understand. When you give thanks ahead of time, you call the miracle closer, because gratitude is a language that only speaks to heaven. It's the language of mature faith. It's proof that your heart is already seeing into the invisible. And when I see gratitude in advance, I hasten the fulfillment of my promise. Gratitude honors me before the miracle, and I honor those who honor me. You have been experiencing moments of inner clarity that didn't exist before. You have noticed subtle changes around you. You have felt a lightness that seemed impossible months ago. These are signs that your spirit is already prepared to give thanks, not for what you see, but for what you know I am bringing. Gratitude is now your prophetic weapon. Use it daily. Give thanks when you wake up. Give thanks when you feel tired. Give thanks when you don't understand anything. Because gratitude doesn't depend on your vision, it depends on my word. And my word is already in motion within you. When you say thank you before seeing, you connect with the end result, not the intermediate process. When you say thank you, even amidst uncertainty, you show that your faith is not in your hands, but in your heart. When you say thank you, while the promise is still unfolding, you show that you are not bound by time, but by purpose. And this puts you exactly in the position where the miracle finds space to fully manifest itself. And remember, my son, gratitude is not denying reality, it is affirming the promise. It is not pretending that it doesn't hurt, it is declaring that pain does not have the final word. It is not ignoring what is difficult, it is recognizing that I am above what is difficult. Gratitude is a decision, gratitude is maturity, gratitude is activated faith. And now, as a prophetic act of anticipated gratitude, and to release this atmosphere upon other lives that need it, share this message to multiply the faith that I am kindling within you. In the next part, I will show you that you will not return to the old level, because I am leading you to a new level where nothing will be the same as before. My child, now I need you to understand something profound. You are no longer at the old level. That emotional, spiritual, and mental place where you lived before no longer exists for you. You have been transformed, refined, matured, healed, and repositioned in such a profound way that returning is simply no longer possible. What I did within you was not a temporary adjustment, not a momentary relief, not a fleeting consolation. I rebuilt your inner structure. I changed your foundation. I took you to another level, a level where you will no longer return to what hurt you before. The old level was a place where you accepted little, where you bowed your head before what hurt you, where you let opinions and situations mold you. But that time is over. You are no longer someone easily shaken. You are no longer someone who gives in to pressure. You are no longer someone who feels small in the face of life. I lifted you up. I strengthened you, I established you, I gave you vision, I gave you awareness, I gave you discernment. What once brought you down no longer has enough power to touch you. You yourself have noticed this in recent days. Your reaction has changed. What once deeply affected you now passes you by without entering your life. What once threw you off balance now seems small. What once drained your energy no longer affects you. This is not by chance, it's a sign of a new level. You have been repositioned internally, you have been spiritually elevated, you have been emotionally stabilized. And I want you to understand, this new level doesn't depend on you feeling strong every day. It depends on the deep work I've done within you. It doesn't matter if you have good days or difficult days, the level doesn't change. You may even fluctuate emotionally, but you don't regress spiritually. Because I have grounded you in foundations that don't crumble. You have roots now, you have depth now, you have clarity now, you have structure now. The old level also carried repetitive cycles, ways of thinking that returned, feelings that repeated themselves, relational patterns that hurt you, insecurities that pulled you back. But I broke those cycles. What was once a circle is now a path. What once made you return to the starting point has now lost access. I closed old doors. I disconnected connections that kept you trapped. I removed weights you carried for years, and when I close, no one opens. I also won't allow you to go back to the kind of people who used to belittle you. I won't allow you to fit back into places that no longer accommodate who you've become. People, environments, habits, conversations, everything that doesn't fit this new level will naturally begin to drift away. Not because you're rejecting it, but because there's no longer compatibility. The new version doesn't fit into the old structure. This isn't loss, it's protection. And I tell you clearly, you will not lose this transformation. It is not fragile. It does not depend on your human effort. It is founded on the work I have done within you. You will not return to what made you suffer, because I have closed that path. You will not again feel what crushed you. because I have healed that area. You will not fall into the same traps again, because I have given you discernment. You will not again choose what destroyed you, because I have given you clarity. Now you walk in stability, you walk in identity, you walk in power, you walk conscious of who you are and who I am in you. Life will no longer find you unprepared. You will no longer be surprised by the same pains. You will no longer believe in lies that once hurt you. You are entering a new cycle, a cycle where you move forward without going backward. And as an act of agreement with the new level that I have established in your life, sign up to remain under this voice that is lifting you up and leading you to your destiny. In the next part, I will show you what will begin to flourish within you now that you are established at this new level. My child, now that you have been established on a new level, I want to show you what will begin to blossom within you. Because when I transform a heart, when I realign a soul, when I remake someone's emotional and spiritual structure, nothing remains the same. Everything within you begins to respond to my touch. Everything within you begins to reorganize. Everything within you begins to grow. And it is this inner growth that I want to reveal to you now. Seeds were planted within you during the most difficult days of your life. Seeds you thought would be buried forever. Seeds you imagined would never sprout because the soil seemed too hard, too dark, too dry. But now, with your heart healed, your inner self has become fertile. And all that I planted, patience, faith, sensitivity, discernment, courage, identity, will begin to break through the surface of your soul. You will begin to notice new thoughts emerging, thoughts that are not of fear, but of confidence, thoughts that are not of weariness, but of direction, thoughts that are not of confusion, but of clarity. The way you see things will change. The way you react will change. The way you interpret situations will change. Things that once consumed you will no longer have power. Things that once brought you down will now be overcome with ease. New feelings will also begin to emerge. A profound peace, independent of circumstances. A light joy that needs no reason to exist. A firm hope that remains even when you don't yet see the complete picture. A silent strength that grows within you day by day. You will be surprised at how much more stable your soul will be. You will be surprised at how much more serene you will become in the face of challenges that once swept you off your feet. And you will notice something else. Your spiritual sensitivity will increase. You will be able to discern more clearly who should walk with you and who should not. You will perceive more easily what comes from me and what does not. You will feel in your spirit when something is misaligned. You will no longer enter emotional places that destroyed you, because now you recognize the smell of what is toxic. This is blossoming. You too will begin to feel a new desire, a desire to draw closer to me. Not out of fear, not out of need, but out of connection, out of affection, out of will. You will feel the urge to talk to me on your good days, not just on your difficult days. You will feel joy in listening to me, peace in seeking me, rest in surrendering your thoughts to me. The intimacy that once seemed distant will now become natural. There will also be a new courage arising within you, a courage to make decisions you've postponed for years, a courage to cut away what has hurt you, a courage to say no to what no longer suits you, a courage to stand firm, a courage to embrace opportunities you previously thought were too great. You will begin to trust yourself because, in truth, you will be trusting in me within you. And the identity I placed within you will begin to blossom as never before. You will begin to feel more secure, more whole, more authentic. You will no longer try to fit in where you don't belong. You will no longer try to please in order to be accepted. You will no longer try to diminish your worth to fit into small spaces. This blossoming will allow you to walk with poise, with spiritual elegance, with awareness of who I formed you to be. My son, all of this has already begun. You will notice internal changes before you notice external ones, because that's how I work. I first transform the heart, then I transform the path. And what you are about to experience is born from what I have made grow within you. And now, as a prophetic act of recognition of this flourishing that has already begun, share something that God is causing to flourish in you. In just one word or short phrase, take a deep breath. In the next part, I will show you how my favor will come in waves, and how each wave will be greater than the last. My child, now I want to show you something that begins to happen when I raise you to a new level. My favor begins to come upon your life in waves. It is not an isolated touch, not a single movement, not a solitary blessing. It is a flow, a continuous outpouring, a succession of movements that become ever greater, deeper, and more visible. You have been prepared to receive not just one response, but an entire cycle of favors that will connect to one another, like a tide that advances and never recedes. The first wave of favor arrives to unlock what was trapped. It opens what seemed impossible to open. It loosens spiritual knots. It breaks invisible chains. It makes what seemed blocked finally move. It is the wave of unlocking, and it is already approaching your life. You have already begun to feel the movement of this spiritual water rising around you. It comes strong, but it comes gently. It comes firmly, but it comes with peace. It will reach you even before you realize how trapped you were. After the first wave will come another, the wave of expansion. It doesn't come to unlock, it comes to expand. It opens up space, it creates opportunities, it makes small things become bigger, it makes simple connections become wide doors, it makes normal conversations become directions. This wave increases your capacity, broadens your horizons, increases your perception, increases your possibilities. It makes you see that what I am doing is not small, it is broad, wide, deep. The third wave is the wave of elevation. It places you in places you never imagined you'd be. It makes you seen, noticed, remembered, called upon. It takes you from the position of someone who suffers in hiding and puts you in the position of someone who lives with purpose. This wave not only blesses you, it lifts you up, it positions you, it opens paths that were previously for the few. It gives you access to things you never thought you could achieve. And you won't have to force anything. The wave carries you. The fourth wave is the deepest. It is the wave of consolidation. It ensures that everything I have given you will not be lost, that everything I have built will not be shaken, that everything I have placed in your hands will be established. This wave is the one that seals, that establishes, that protects, that stabilizes. It makes what was once fragile become strong. It transforms recent blessings into a lasting legacy. And after these waves, others will come, because my favor is not an event, it is a river, it flows. It advances, it continues, it renews itself, it grows. Each wave will be greater than the last, because now you have the structure to sustain all that I am bringing. Before, you wouldn't understand this flow. Before, it would frighten you. Before, it would overwhelm you. But not now. Now, you have roots, you have maturity, you have depth, you have identity. Now, you can receive without fear. And you will begin to see the favor manifest itself in details, the right people appearing at the exact moment, unexpected invitations, paths aligning themselves, quick answers after years of silence, opportunities arriving when you least expect them. None of this is coincidence. It's all a wave, one wave after another, one grace calling for another, one favor leading to another. You will also realize that doors that once required effort will now open naturally. The wave will do the hard work. You will simply walk on what I move. You will no longer live on the edge of strength. You will live in the flow of grace, because when you enter the new level, you also enter the rhythm of heaven. And now, as a sign that you agree with this movement and position yourself under this continuous flow, enjoy this message as a declaration that you are receiving the favor that will come in waves upon your life. Prepare your heart. In the next part, I will show you how this favor that is now descending will begin to become a public testimony, and many will see my hand upon you. My son, now I reveal to you something that many still do not understand about what I am doing in your life. The miracle that is coming will not be hidden. It will not be silent. It will not be invisible. It will be noticed by all. I am not raising you up in secret. I am not restoring you merely so that you feel better inside. I am preparing something that will be so clear, so visible, so evident that even those who never believed in you will be forced to recognize my hand upon your story. There are miracles I perform in the intimacy of the heart, but what I am building in you now is a public testimony. I allowed you to be broken before some, so that now you might be lifted up before them. I allowed certain people to underestimate you, not to humiliate you, but so that when I exalt you, no one can deny my work. The glory that will come upon your life cannot be explained by human effort. It will bear my signature. You will see changes so profound and so visible that even people far away will notice. The transformation in your posture, your speech, your peace, your strength, your stability, all of this will be noticed. People will look at you and say, "He has changed. She is not the same anymore. Something happened." And you will know that this something was not human. It was not coincidence. It was not luck. It was my movement. I will make sure to show my faithfulness through your life, not to inflate your ego, but to exalt my name. I will lift you from the place where many judged you defeated. I will raise you up in the same scenario where you were discredited. I will show you strong where they called you weak. I will show you honored where they left you aside. People who saw you cry will see your joy. People who heard your pleas will see your harvest. People who saw your silence will see your victory. Even those who never knew your pain will notice your change, because what I'm doing cannot be hidden. It's like light breaking through the darkness. It's like a strong perfume spreading. It's like a fire that no one can ignore. Your miracle will be so clear that there will be no need for explanations. It will explain itself. And I tell you more. Those who mocked, who doubted, who said you would never succeed, will witness my intervention, not to humiliate them, but so that all may know that I honor those who remain in me. Your testimony will be an answer. It will be proof. It will be a mark. It will be a living reminder of what I do with those who do not give up, with those who cry out seeking me, with those who remain faithful even when broken inside. I will bestow upon you such a visible favor that it will effortlessly open doors. Your presence will carry a perceptible grace. People will favor your name without understanding why. Opportunities will come to you naturally. Conversations will open paths. Situations will align before your eyes. The favor that is already descending will begin to become public evidence. Your victory will not be silent. It will be a testimony, and testimony cannot be hidden. You will not return to the same emotional, spiritual, or social place as before. When I raise you up, and I am already raising you up, it will be impossible not to notice. You have become a living sign of what I am capable of doing. And now, as a prophetic act, and in agreement with what I am bringing upon your life, comment 7,777, declaring that your miracle will be seen by all. Breathe. In the next part, I will show you that you will not only be noticed, many will clearly see my hand upon you. My child, now I reveal to you something even deeper about what will happen when my promise manifests in your life. Many will clearly see my hand upon you. It will not be merely a perceptible change. It will not be merely visible progress. It will not be merely an apparent improvement. It will be something so clear, so strong, so impossible to explain humanly, that even those who do not believe in me will be forced to admit, the hand of God is upon him, the hand of God is upon her. I will not only make your life move forward, I will make my actions transparent. My intervention will be evident in the details, in the timing, in the alignments, in the doors that will open effortlessly, in the paths that will illuminate themselves. People will look at your story and see that something supernatural intervened in the process. They will see my mark in every turn, in every deliverance, in every achievement, in every door that is flung open. This will not be interpreted as luck. It will not be mistaken for coincidence. It will be recognized as purpose. I will make situations happen with such precision that even those who tried to harm you will be surprised. People will say, "How did this happen so fast? How did this turn out of nowhere? How did he achieve something so impossible?" And there will only be one answer. I touched. When I touch, no one ignores. When I move, no one erases. When I exalt, no one degrades. When I open, no one closes. Many will see my hand defending you. They will see doors that closed to protect you, even when you didn't understand. They will see opportunities that arose at the last minute and saved you from falling. They will see connections that were removed from your path because they would hurt you. They will see my wisdom guiding your steps, even in those moments when you didn't know where to go. Many will see my hand working in your favor. They will see people beginning to treat you with respect, with honor, with recognition. They will see your voice gaining weight. They will see your presence being valued. They will see doors opening because I whispered your name in the right place. They will see paths aligning because I moved invisible pieces for you. Many will see my hand restoring you. They will see your emotions healed. They will see your posture firmer. They will see your voice more stable. They will see your mind lighter. They will see the peace that once seemed impossible to accompany you. They will see your energy renewed, your vision broadened, your confidence returned. They will see that you are no longer who you were, and they will realize that this was not the result of therapy, human strength, or circumstances. It was the result of my touch. Many will see my hand lifting you up. They will see opportunities coming your way. They will see unexpected promotions. They will see invitations arriving. They will see doors that were once closed opening easily. They will see favor flowing in ways that will even surprise you. Your name will be mentioned in spaces you never imagined entering, and it will not be by human influence. It will be by divine decision. Now pay attention. When my actions begin to become public, they don't just reach your life, they reach the lives of many around you. The testimony I will give you will be a seed for others to awaken faith. People will be inspired. People will believe again. People will seek me when they see what I have done with you. My hand upon you will become a living message. And now, as a prophetic act to multiply this testimony that is to come, share this message with someone who also needs to see my hand at work. Breathe. In the next part, I will reveal something even greater to you. When I begin to move, you don't just receive a miracle, you enter a cycle of successive harvests. My son, now I want you to understand the depth of the season that is beginning in your life. You are not entering an isolated moment of victory. You are entering a cycle, a living cycle, a continuous cycle, a cycle where one harvest will lead to another. The time of emotional, spiritual, and even material scarcity is behind you because you have been prepared to sustain that which would have suffocated you before. Now, I place you on a path where what you plant will be immediately perceived, and what you sowed in tears will flourish so abundantly that you yourself will be surprised by the speed and consistency. There was a time when you harvested very little, a time when it seemed that every effort produced almost nothing, a time when you gave affection, devotion, love, and dedication, and received silence, indifference, or closed doors. That time was not a time of absence of harvest. It was a time of preparing the soil. You needed to be strengthened internally so as not to waste what I would pour out later. Now that your inner self has been reorganized, what took months will come in weeks. What took years will come in days. What seemed impossible will become natural. This is the beginning of a season where harvests will emerge in different areas. Simultaneously, you will see internal changes happening while external doors open. You will see professional opportunities arising while relationships are healed. You will see your peace grow as your vision expands. You will see people who previously ignored you now respecting you. This is not a coincidence. It is the result of what I am releasing upon you. One harvest feeds the other. You will also realize that your spiritual sensitivity will become sharper. You will quickly identify what comes from me and what does not. This will prevent you from planting in unproductive soil, avoiding the wear and tear and delays that previously consumed your soul. As you sow in the right place, your harvest will come so naturally that you will say, "How did this happen so quickly?" And I will tell you, because now your heart is aligned with heaven's timing. There will also be harvests of peace. Things that once kept you awake at night will completely lose their power. Worries that once crushed you will dissolve. Difficult situations that once created internal storms will now be faced calmly. You will realize that you have matured, that you have grown, that you have become someone capable of dealing with life without losing your balance. That is harvest, and there will be harvests of honor. People who once doubted you will see your steadfastness. People who underestimated you will see your transformation. People who hurt you will see your elevation. Not because I want to exalt you before them, but because they need to see what I do with those who remain. Your name will be seen with respect, and your presence will be recognized as valuable. Harvests of opportunity will also come. Paths that have never been opened before will open. Doors that you knocked on and nothing moved will now open by themselves. You will not be chasing after it. You will be called, invited, pushed forward by your own favor. When I decide to give a harvest, circumstances begin to cooperate, and there will be invisible harvests, which only you and I will understand. Deep healings, broken emotional cycles, old wounds closed, fears released, shame transformed into strength. You will look inside and realize that it is not only your life that has changed, you have changed. And that change is a harvest as powerful as any material blessing. You too will enter the cycle of constant harvest. While one victory happens, another is already being prepared. While one path opens, another is already being aligned. While one testimony manifests, another is already being planted. Because I didn't bring you here to give you a single moment of glory. I brought you here to establish you in a new rhythm, where you experience not just miracles, but a sequence of miracles. My son, this is the time of continuity, of fluidity, of movement, of expansion. I am raising your life so that you may be a permanent witness, not just a momentary one. And as you walk this path, you will realize that even that which seemed small will multiply before you. This is the season where you will not only see results, you will see repeated results. Breathe and receive, because in the next part, I will give you the final decree that seals your new season and leads you to the perfect loop of the beginning, where everything starts again with even greater force. My child, now I tell you with authority, today is the day of your miracle, not tomorrow, not when everything seems perfect, not when you feel the moment is ideal. It is today. Heaven has moved, the earth has aligned, time has opened, and my decree has already been released upon your life. Nothing you have faced has been in vain. Nothing you have felt has been wasted. Every tear, every struggle, every silent battle, every night of anguish, all of this is now being translated into fulfillment. I am transforming pain into destiny, desert into direction, and waiting into an explosion of purpose. Today is the day because your heart is ready. Ready to receive, ready to sustain, ready to recognize that what is to come is not the work of humankind, it is divine intervention. You did not arrive here by chance. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. I brought you to this exact moment because the spiritual clock has turned in your favor. While you walked, I prepared. While you cried, I molded you. While you asked, when, I prepared the now. There is an outpouring happening over you at this very moment. A movement invisible to the human eye, but strong enough to change routes, open paths, and alter atmospheres. You will feel it in the coming days. A sudden lightness, a new clarity, an inexplicable inner impulse, a courage you didn't have before. These will be the first signs that the miracle is already manifesting. And I want you to understand something very profound. Today is the day of your miracle because everything within you has finally aligned with what I was preparing. Your spirit has matured, your mind has strengthened, your faith has deepened. You were molded from within before being elevated from without. No true blessing blossoms in haste, it blossoms in maturity, and you have matured. You will now enter a phase where what seemed distant will become near, where what seemed complicated will become simple, where what seemed impossible will become natural. I am unlocking paths before you. I am undoing the bonds that held you back. I am removing resistances you didn't see. I am sending favor even before you ask. I am whispering your name in places you never imagined you would be. Today is the day of the miracle because the process is over. You crossed the valley. You endured inner storms. You withstood emotional attacks. You remained faithful when everything screamed to give up. You held on to your faith even when it seemed fragile. Now I reward you not for effort, but for surrender. Not for perfection, but for constancy. Not for strength, but for trust. From today onward, you will see answers come more quickly. You will see connections forming effortlessly. You will see opportunities placed before you as a gift. You will see doors opening even before you knock. You will see signs that heaven is working in your favor. You will see that what you have prayed for so long has finally found space to happen. And I tell you more, this miracle is not small. It is great, profound, expansive. It will not be just an external change, it will be a watershed moment. It will be something that will make you look back and realize, I lived one phase, now I am living another. What begins today does not end tomorrow. It is a new cycle, a new season, a new path. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement with this day ordained by heaven, like and subscribe, declaring that you receive this miracle that begins today in your life. Breathe, my son. In the next part, I will show you something essential. My voice will continue to guide you, and you will never walk alone again. My child, now that I have declared over you that today is the day of your miracle, I need you to understand something even deeper. My voice will continue to guide you every step of the way from now on. You will not walk alone. You will not advance blindly. You will not depend solely on your own perception. I will be your constant guide, your sure direction, your intimate counselor, and your silent guardian. The miracle does not throw you into unknown territory without support. It places you on a journey where my presence becomes even more perceptible. You will perceive this so clearly that you will often feel as if I am speaking directly to your heart, and I will be. My impressions will come more easily. My confirmations will come more quickly. My corrections will come gently but firmly. You will begin to recognize this is God, even before any natural evidence. This is how I guide those who walk beside me. I do not shout, I direct. I do not push, I lead. There are paths I will not allow you to choose, not because I do not love you, but because I love you too much to see your peace compromised. There are doors that will seem good, but I will close them because they do not align with your purpose. There are people who will try to get close, but I myself will prevent them because they are not part of your development. There are opportunities that will seem great, but I will not let you enter because true greatness lies in another direction. My voice will protect you from roads that seem like light, but hide shadows. And you will begin to feel this, a restlessness when something is not for you, a light weight warning you that it is not the right time, a lack of peace showing you that it is not the right path. Or, conversely, a peace so firm and silent that you will know, this is the way. This discernment is not a coincidence, it is my voice guiding you. I will give you the sensitivity to distinguish what is human impulse from what is divine direction. I will be with you in your decisions. You will not make important choices alone. I will give you wisdom to know what to accept, what to reject, what to expect, and what to embrace. Your mind will be enlightened, your intuition will be strengthened, your heart will be guided safely. My voice will no longer be distant as you thought at some points in the past. It will be constant, present, close, because your heart has matured to listen. You will also realize that I will guide you not only in the big steps, but in the details. In simple conversations, I will put words in your mouth. In silent moments, I will bring you memories that will be answers. On confusing days, I will give you calm. In difficult times, I will give you direction. In unexpected situations, I will give you a clear vision of what to do. My voice will not cease. It will accompany you like the shadow of light. And there is something even deeper that I want to reveal to you. My voice will not only guide you out of danger, but will guide you into your destiny. You will begin to perceive an alignment you have never felt before. Paths opening at the exact moment, the right people appearing at the perfect time, inspired thoughts arising from nowhere, creative solutions, spiritual insights, strategic directions, new ideas. All of this will be a breaths from me, breaths that push your life onto the path where I want you to be. I will also guide you through your emotions. When you feel you are losing strength, I will renew you. When you feel alone, I will surround you. When your soul is troubled, I will calm you. When you don't understand anything, I will explain it to you in due time. My voice is not just practical guidance, it is constant companionship. I will be with you when you wake up, when you walk, when you work, when you decide, when you rest. You don't need to fear the future because you won't walk it alone. You don't need to fear difficult decisions because I will give you wisdom. You don't need to fear losing something because I will show you what to keep and what to let go of. You don't need to fear the unknown because I am already there waiting for you. And, above all, you don't need to fear making mistakes because even when you stumble, my voice will lift you up. Now, my son, as a sign that you choose to follow my voice and remain sensitive to what I will say in the coming days, write a short comment stating, "I will follow your voice," or something similar, to seal this direction in your spirit. Take a deep breath, because in the next subsection, I will guide you to the perfect closing of the cycle, the one that connects the end to the beginning, where you will realize that nothing ends, everything begins again within my presence. My child, now I want to lead you to a place where your soul finally understands that nothing I do ends, everything transforms, everything continues, everything is renewed within my presence. This moment is not a closure, not a final point, not the end of a process. It is a transition, a gentle curve in the path, a bridge that takes you from what you have just received to what I will continue to pour out. Because my voice does not speak only to the present, it accompanies you. My movement does not act only in an instant, it extends. My hand does not touch only once, it remains upon you. I have walked with you since the beginning of this spiritual process. I took your hand when your soul was fragile. I strengthened you when you felt you had no more strength. I illuminated you when your vision was blurred. I healed parts of you that you didn't even realize were wounded. I restored your identity piece by piece. And now, even after releasing the miracle upon you, I do not turn away. I do not remain silent. I do not withdraw. I continue. I follow you. My movement does not end with the blessing. It continues on the journey. Understand something profound. The miracle was merely the beginning of a new phase, not the end of a story. You were prepared not to receive something and stop, but to receive something and move forward. Every word I spoke to you built you from within, so that now you walk on new ground. Ground where you don't walk alone, where you don't depend on your own strength, where you no longer live reacting to the world, but responding to what I say. And that is why I am now gently guiding you to a state of presence, a state where you feel my hand upon your life in every detail, where you realize that even when I am not saying something new, I continue to guide you with a welcoming and directing silence, where you understand that you don't need to rush because I am your time, where you realize that you don't need to fear because I am your security, where you understand that you don't need to desperately seek new signs because I, myself, am the sign. The bridge you are crossing now is spiritual. You are leaving one station and entering another without realizing it. You are not leaving what I have done. You are going deeper. You are not leaving the miracle behind. You are entering the phase where you will learn to live with it. You are not closing one revelation. You are opening space for new ones. This is the path of maturity, understanding that in my presence there is no beginning and end, there is flow, movement, continuity. I want you to feel now the lightness of my breath upon you. Yes, I breathe life into you. I breathe peace. I breathe balance. I breathe clarity. I breathe direction. I breathe healing. Each breath you take can become an encounter with me if you allow it. Each exhale can become surrender if your heart so desires. I am not distant. I am so close that I touch your soul in the rhythm of your breath. This is the place where you don't need to prove anything, where you don't need to force anything, where you don't need to worry about tomorrow, where you rest knowing that I have already been before you, where you surrender knowing that I have already taken care of everything. This is the place where your soul rests, where your spirit listens, where your heart aligns. This is where you should remain while the cycle begins again. You will realize that at the end of this moment, something within you will ask you to take a deep breath. And this is not just physiological, it is spiritual. It is your soul recognizing that it needs to reopen space for presence. It is your inner self preparing for another dive. It is your spirit understanding that the journey continues, that another layer is about to be touched, that more light is about to enter, I walk in profound cycles, my child, and you now are on the threshold of yet another. But do not think of cycles as repetitive turns. Think of them as spirals that always lead you to higher, deeper, more mature levels. With each return, you return different, you return greater, you return more sensitive, you return more filled with my presence. This is how I transform you. This is how I elevate you. This is how I mold you in movements that seem like returns but are ascension. Therefore, I tell you now, gently and authoritatively, let your heart surrender again, let your breath slow down, let your mind be silent, let your soul rest in my lap. Because the cycle has not ended, it is only about to begin again in an even deeper, more revealing and more transformative way. Stay here, stay present, stay open, take a deep breath, because this moment is the perfect bridge to return to the beginning, where I tell you again, take a deep breath. Allow this moment to reach your heart,